Now, this moment is impeccable because there is one month a year that is the biggest art selling time of the year every year, and that month is November. It is right now. The biggest art selling time of the year is, oh yeah, my video, thank you, is right now. It is, oh, now there's two of me, sorry. It is the month of November. And what we normally see on our websites, going back years after year after year, you have your normal sales volume. The normal sales volume doubles in October, it triples in November, and it falls back down to a 1.5 multiple in December. And there is no better time, period, than right now, this month. Black Friday, Cyber Monday that are coming up. They're two of the biggest e-commerce holidays in the entire United States. And then you have all the additional business that happens between now and Christmas. So what do most artists and photographers do? Q4 comes, October, November, December, and they don't do any marketing and they don't do any sales, and they don't follow like a basic marketing plan throughout it. They kind of just sit on the sidelines and get busy during the holidays like all the rest of us do. And what I'm telling you is you cannot let another one come and go. You're on this call because you want to better monetize your creative talents, and I am telling you there is no better month to monetize them than right now, the month of November, which is only halfway over. And for many of you, I know that you're like, okay, well, what am I going to do? I don't have that much time. All you need is a cell phone, some works, go live, talk about your work, and have a sale. At the very minimum, that is at least better than not doing anything at all. That will help significantly, right? For those of you that end up getting signed up, we will have a playbook that you can run and you can get going. But don't look at this month and being on this session as a sales pitch. I don't care if you guys sign up or don't sign up. All I want you to do is do some marketing, let people know you exist, and get a sale in the water for the month of November. It is that important of a month. There is no more important month in our entire thing, and you can absolutely do it. And the fact that none of you have done any consistent marketing whatsoever always means that there is low-hanging fruit out there. There are people that follow you, that know, like, and trust you, that don't have any idea that you have your artistic creations for sale because you've not let them know, okay? I don't care if you call your mom. Start with your mom, right? Call your mom and be like, Mom, I'm having a sale. I'm having a sale for Black Friday. And it sounds hyperbolic, but it's not. It's not, you guys. This is the month. This is the month, and you have basically from now until, call it like the 12th, 13th, 14th of December. Or if you're one of the folks that's in a basket where you're going to only be able to sell locally, like, look, you can sell all the way up to the 24th because you're doing local delivery on whatever the pieces are, right? But now's the time. And when you hear me getting fired up about it, like I get fired up. Now is the time to take whatever else you have on your to-do list, scratch it off. It will wait for you until December, and get the sale in the water, okay? Get the sale in the water and get going. So on that note, we open it up to Q&A. How do we do a Q&A? If you're one of the brave ones, okay, that has your camera on, I'm talking to you, Susan, okay? Appreciate you being brave, all right? Not everyone wants to be brave. Not everyone wants to be on video. I totally get it. I hate being on video. But I see you have a question already. So what Susan has done is at the bottom of the Zoom window, there's like a little reactions face, and you can click that. And what that allows you to do is raise your hand, digitally speaking, and that lets me know you have a question. But if you have your camera on, you can just go like that, and I'll be like, okay, I know they got a question. And I can unmute you. If you don't want to turn your video on, you don't have to turn your video on, okay? I hate being on video. I totally get that. So you can answer just via audio. And you can also throw your questions into the chat. I know a couple of you have already done that. Which is awesome. Thank you for that. And I will get into those as well. But without further ado, Susan, we are starting with you. So I'm going to go ahead and unmute you. Go ahead, Susan.
Okay, my question is,
Mm-hmm.
I am on Social Security,
Mm-hmm.
so my income is very limited.
Mm-hmm.
Do not have a list
Mm-hmm.
because I just now starting to sell my work.
Okay.
So is it possible I am signing up. Is it possible to start with very limited, extremely limited funds?
Yes, that's the good news. So early on, everyone thinks you have to spend a bunch of money after you sign up. After you sign up, you don't have to spend a bunch of money. That's the good thing because you're not even going to be ready to spend money until you start getting some sales, and more importantly, until you start focusing fundamentally on your marketing. So that's where it's got to start. Early on, after you sign up, all that we really have you do are a couple of giveaways that center around print giveaways. And so the prints are like 40 or 50 bucks, 60 bucks, sometimes depending on what you decide. So it makes it pretty easy. And then, you won't be ready to start spending additional money on the business. And sort of the first next rung up is running Facebook and Instagram ads to your warm audience. You probably don't have any idea what that is. It doesn't matter. You'll learn later on down the line, but you're not going to be there for like 6 months, 9 months, maybe even a year. So that first year is literally just pulling your hair out of your head, learning how to do all this marketing stuff that you've never done. It's not easy. It's a grind. It's a total pain in the butt, but you just keep getting better at it and better at it and better at it. And the progression is just so key, right? Because you've never marketed consistently in your life, and you have to get going. You got to get started. It's what changes the business.
Thank you.
Yeah, my pleasure, Susan. Thank you. Okay. And Nancy, did you have a question, or you just rave and turn the camera on? I'm going to unmute you, Nancy, because I can't hear you. You have to hit the, yep, now I got you.
I'm on Zoom every day, so I'm pretty used to it. I was just busy doing stuff.
Yeah, your headset game is next level. That thing sounds really good, actually.
Plantronics.
Yeah, it sounds really good. I'm impressed. Yeah.
Thanks.
Okay. So I had a question in here earlier, a YouTube one. Where is it? Oh yeah, River. So I'm gonna unmute you, River. River is my nephew's name. I love that name. All right, River, you're unmuted if you want to hit the mic icon. So you were asking first, is it necessary to do YouTubes for self-promotion? No, not really. For most of you guys, like, we advocate that you use YouTube, but we advocate that you use YouTube as a free style, a free video storage solution, right? Because it's an easy place where you can park your videos and show them to people after the fact. But not many artists that I know are generating any sort of sales off of YouTube. I don't think we have a single solitary one that is, in all honesty. But it still plays an important role, because you end up streaming your shows to YouTube. They live there, and then they go from there. I guess that's not true. We have some that are like educators that are doing pretty well on YouTube. But my one buddy, I love showing this off, and I just want to show this off really, really briefly because I think it's so cool. But my one buddy, I showed him a bunch on where did I show him a bunch? I show him a bunch on like the intro video. He's been with us like a customer since day one, and he's done really, really well. So you look at, and I got to realize I got to share my screen. And I bring all this up, by the way, is like, these are the types of things that I'm able to tell you guys as a marketer that you don't need to worry about, because there's so many nonsense charlatans out there telling you what you do and don't need to do. And what I'm saying is that I have 5,200 customers, and I look at their data. Until I see someone popping a bunch of sales from Pinterest or YouTube, then you don't need to worry about it, right? But what's interesting about this guy, look at this. 9,400 YouTube subscribers, okay? Art Store Friends has like 500 videos, and we don't have 9,200 YouTube subscribers. And it turns out he had one video go viral, like massively viral, and it's a really cool video. It's like really good music. Let me just fucking play it. And it's just him doing this like killer, like, time lapse, and it's like this amazing piece at the end and going through his process. But guess what? Who subscribed? A bunch of artists that like watching this. They're not buying any of his art, right? Like, not at all. So yeah, those are sort of my feelings on YouTube. That was kind of a long.
That's what I seem to see, and also, like, I was wondering about Patreon, because they seem to push the videos on their site, and I don't. I would like to build a Patreon kind of audience, because that means it's regular income, but I don't know if that's a smart thing to do or not. So that's another question I have.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, you can't look at Patreon as a way that you're going to build your operation, because you got to fix the marketing problem, right? Like, you're not going to have a robust community in Patreon until you're fixing the marketing problem and have a way of generating a ton of attention. So Patreon's not going to help you out of the gates. You would have to create some content that's awesome. It's sort of a little bit harder to do for an artist that's just creating works, right? Because, do they really want to support you? It's more of a good subscription revenue model for people that are putting out content on a regular basis. But it's sort of putting the cart before the horse, right? You have a marketing problem. You got to solve that marketing problem. Until you do solve that marketing problem, you can't decide whether or not Patreon is going to be important for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm with you about the attention thing. So
yeah,
hold my hand up on that one as well. So because we've spoken before, and I did raise my prices based on what you said.
Oh, I love you for that. How did it go?
like like I wish I'd asked for more.
Yep. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah.
It's like without blinking an eye, the patron that the patron that I'd had before, she wanted me to continue to make something else, and so I did. And I said, but it's going to cost you a lot more. And she said yes without blinking an eye. And going like, I should have made it even higher, but I didn't want to like price myself out of it yet. So yeah, every time that I have somebody coming back for another commission, I'm saying my prices have gone up again. So I'm not just like going through the roof fast, but I am making it incremental. But I only have, that's my problem is that it's just every time I put something up on Facebook, I'm not really even trying to say I promoted. I just like, here I did it. And then somebody else comes and asks me for another commission, which is great. But it's
first world problems for River here. Okay, these are first world problems here, River. I like what I'm hearing. I mean, if the work is selling right away, you want to keep up on your prices. I mean, that's just the reality.
Yeah, but the thing is, I'm not getting outside of the circle of people. That's the thing.
Yeah.
It's the same
Yeah.
handful of people.
Yep.
So that I need to break out of that. So I'm like just barely above nothing at all.
Mm-hmm. Got to fix the marketing problem. We can help you.
Okay.
If you're selling that well already, it's an absolute no-brainer for you because you're never going to break out of that group until you solve the marketing problem, right? And when I say the marketing problem, all year long we have to be capturing new emails. All year long we have to be emailing those new emails. All year long we have to be posting on the socials and learn the basic fundamentals of omni-channel marketing. Omni-channel marketing consists of you have a sale, you send an email about the sale. Your Facebook and Instagram posts dovetail with the language of the sale because you know why? Everyone ignores your email. And then they're on the couch and they see an Instagram post and then they ignore that and go watch a cat video. And then they see your Facebook post and then they go back and click on the link in the sales ad and then purchase. And so you have to learn how to do that. You have to learn how to run live art shows. You have to learn how to properly execute a sale. Properly executing a sale is not something that artists and photographers normally know how to do. You have to learn how to tease a sale, announce a sale, what to do during, what to do after, how to extend it, how to contemplate the discounts, how long to run it for. And this skill set is fundamental to the business growing year over year over year. And artists have two problems. One, you're not doing any of the above. Two, you're not doing it consistently. And the consistency.
And there's another one is like, so my fear is that all of that it's a big learning curve, and then all of that is taking time away from what takes me, because I'm a textile artist and fundamentally a fiber artist, which takes a lot of time to create a work. So I'm either like, I feel like it's pulling me away from the thing that's fun. Marketing is not fun to me. I've done marketing in the past. I don't like it. And so then doing that versus, so I feel torn between the business of art and the art that I want to make, which is fun to me.
Yeah.
And I'm a retiree like Susan, so I don't have a ton of money to be like throwing around.
Nope.
But so that means that I have to do it. And so like, see where I'm coming from, Patrick, what I'm trying to say?
River, I've never heard this story before, period. I really haven't.
Oh, yeah.
I have never heard of an artist or photographer that just wants to create and not do their marketing, right? Like, it's you can almost sum up this entire situation as, if there's one thing nobody wants to do, it's probably the highest ROI thing to do, right? It's probably the highest ROI thing that we want to do. And what I'm here to tell you, my position is, never in history has it been more worth it. Never in history has it been more worth it. I believe that this industry is getting shaken up from the top to bottom. I believe that it is experiencing its blockbuster Netflix moment. I believe it is experiencing its taxi cab Uber moment, okay? You do not need galleries. You do not need to take a 50-50 haircut. I consider the gallery relationship to be the tenant-farmer relationship. You might get a roof over your head. You might get a couple of bucks and a meal, but when you leave, you're leaving with a shirt on your back and nothing else. You can sell direct now. You can sell direct worldwide. You can keep all of the transaction. You can maintain knowing who your collectors are so you can market to them in the future. Now, is that awesome? Yes, it is. But does it still mean you have to do the marketing? Yes, it does. And there's no shortcut to the pain. You have to take the pain. And we teach you, we guide you, we coach you, but it is let no one out there sugarcoat anything for you, because people have been doing that their entire life. You have to market. It is a massive pain in the butt. There is no shortcut. You have to learn it all. The first year totally sucks, but guess what? It's the only way to grow the business year after year after year and have it continue going. It's so important. It's so important, and that's what it takes to win. That's what it takes to win.
If we could make me to the 4-figure a piece kind of work, I'm all for it, because then I can hire somebody to do it for me.
Absolutely. Love it. You can hire us to do it. We have an entire in-house agency that does it, but you still have to learn how to do it in the short term yourself, and you still have to do some portion of it. And that's just, that's the way of it. That is just absolutely the way of it.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, River. I appreciate it. All right. I saw there were some questions in the chat, and then I want to grab my buddy Johnny here because I checked out his website. Christina asked me a question. I know you asked. Yeah. So what does the sign up cost? Yeah, Christina. So we do things a little bit differently, right? And what we learned sort of early on in our journey as a business at Art Storefronts is that a website is not enough. We thought early on we created this super sweet website for artists. It's better than anything else with all the features and bells and whistles, and makes no difference. It makes a difference if you've been working on your marketing consistently, but that's 1 out of 100 artists. So none of you guys on here have a website problem, right? If I was the genie, I came out of the lamp, and I said, I will grant your wish right now. Christina, I will pick your site up and drop it wherever you want, instantaneously. Do you know what would change in your business? Absolutely nothing, because you're not fixing the marketing problem, okay? You have to fix the marketing problem. So why do I bring that little rant up? We are, yes, a website solution. Yes, we're a very good website solution. But in addition to that, we teach you to market and teach you to grow a business year after year after year. We are essentially a graduate university that teaches advanced art and photo business and marketing, right? And it never stops. And so our baseline plan starts at $1,000 a month, or $999 and $49 a month going forward for the website software. And what that money one time goes to pay for is the army of folks on my team and me teaching you how to market all year long. And there's a whole bunch of different ways that we go about doing that. So that's how it answers the pricing. And I'm going to unmute you, Christina, just in case you had a follow-up. Are you there, Christina? I don't know if you are or not. You'd have to unmute if you want to.
Oh, I am unmuted.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah. Sorry, did you say $999 a month?
Yeah. I always just say 1,000 because I hate that stupid trickery. Yeah. Like, don't say $9.99. We know it's not $9.99. Like, it's 10, right? Like, yeah, we play the games too.
Yeah. That's not completely out of our budget for sure. So.
Yeah. It's expensive. Sounds expensive, right? Like, you say it and it's expensive, but you have to put it in comparison to everything else that's out there, and everything else out there doesn't work. And it doesn't matter where else you go. You have to fix the marketing problem. If you don't fix the marketing problem, nothing will ever change. And one of the things that I do all the time is we look at everyone that like fills out the forms, and they fill out the form, and I look at their website and I look at their social media, and it's like everyone's breaking all the rules all the time. Not marketing consistently, not having sales. And did you say $9.99 a month? It's $9.99 one time, not a month. One time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay. Good catch, Juan. Yeah, just one time.
Okay, hold on. So it's $1,000 for the one-off. What do you get for that then? Because like that is my budget for getting the website done. So tell me what I get for my grand.
So let's start with the website and go backwards. You guys are all conditioned to like getting websites where you have to like do a bunch of design and fonts and this and that. Nothing could be further from the truth. You don't have to do anything with us. All you're doing is uploading your logo. You are uploading your pieces and pricing them. You're putting an About Me section, and you go to start working on your marketing. It's very simple. The websites are very, very simple. They're very simple to set up. There's lots of people that get them done in like 48 hours. Our average is about like 14 days. It's up, it's running.
How many pieces?
You can have pretty much as many pieces as you want. We don't want you to have too much, because too much is like analysis paralysis, right? Like there's just so the piece situation is not worth. Where the one-time fee goes to is. One, we give you a calendar 365 days a year. It tells you what to do every single solitary day. Not kidding. And if we're telling you to send an email, it gives you the email language, and then you just copy it, throw it into your email program. We recommend MailChimp, and then you change it a little bit, right? When to run a sale, what days are important, when to do normal stuff, what to do all year long. inside the calendar, if we're asking you to do something that you've never done before, there is digital education, do it at your own pace, videos, photos, audio clips, step-by-step screenshots, all of that. In addition to that, we run what we call office hours, and those are Tuesdays and Thursdays every single solitary week. And it's a Zoom session just like this, where we present, we talk about, we go over the calendar, what you should be doing, what the sales look like, talking about live art shows, this, that, or the other. And then same thing like now, Q&A, you can unmute and get on, right? There is an army of support agents that support you on phone, that support you on chat, that'll support you on Zoom. In addition to, who is ringing my doorbell right now? In addition to, sorry, someone's ringing my doorbell, and it's my buddy. I can see him. That's annoying. So, sorry, I've got like a little button right here. I'm working, running a webinar. Get out of here. All right. So he should have heard that. Anyway, in addition to that, yeah, we support you. We support you like crazy, you know, all year long. And then perhaps most importantly is the emotional support that we provide, which I'm coming to find out is one of the biggest things in the game, because everyone's natural tendency as an artist or a photographer is to do a little bit of marketing. This is going to be my year. It's kind of like the New Year's resolution with going to the gym, you know, and then it starts getting cold in like February and no one's going to the gym anymore. That's like the same tendency with artists, right? So I don't know. I bring all that up to say that, you know, you got a budget for a website, right? I wouldn't even contemplate spending that money until you figure out how to solve the marketing problem. With us, we're going to help you do it. But let's say it's not us, right? Until you solve the marketing problem, until you're able to consistently work on your marketing all year, you're not going to move the business forward. That's just the truth of the world that we live in.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what I need. So for context, my mom is in her 70s and her art was her retirement plan. So COVID, she taught art and she sold art in person. And so, you know, that's, I'm trying to help her. And so I can certainly support with the marketing pieces and stuff like that. But yeah, I definitely need some guidance. Okay, so where do I go from here? So I have set up, it's not live, but a Squarespace website. And I'm looking to, you know, I was looking to invest in having somebody finalize it for me, because I realized that I'm a bit out of my depth in some of the way that I envisioned it working and being set up. And then I came across your website and I saw that you also, so it helped me understand a bit around the printing piece, because I think like, wow, that seems like a really great additional.
Oh, it's so important. It's so important.
Yeah. It's so important. And I'm like, that's it, because then people can get it printed to the size they want. And
well, it's not even that, Christina. It's
another way of getting art in people's hands.
So what she's referring to is we have what's called POD, print on demand, and the way that it works is someone comes to your website, they order, you get paid, printer gets paid, printer prints the order, printer ships the order, boxes the order, puts your logo on the side of the box, ships it off to the customer. You touch nothing. You touch nothing in there.
They do calendars?
Yes. You touch. You
touch. Love to have a calendar for mom's work.
Yep. You touch nothing in there. And the important thing about that, Christina, is I mean, it's convenient and it's awesome and all of that, but you don't have to waste any time in any of that. You're not sending tracking numbers and following up, or going to the printer and checking samples and checking pricing and calling and seeing when the order's ready, or any of that nonsense. Also, you can spend that time on the marketing. Also, you can spend that time on the marketing. So that's the key to it. So what I would advise that you do, okay, is if you're serious about it and you feel like you can do the marketing, you should sign up with us. If you're not and you're like, okay, I'm over it, like, just, you know, Squarespace is beautiful. Their websites are beautiful. I love their templates, incredible. But they're designed to do a million different things, right? Shopify, incredible company. Love what they have. Their websites are designed to sell a million different things. We are designed from the ground up to do one thing: sell wall art, right? Sell wall art. So that's what makes the difference. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm currently in conversations with 2 different website designers. So should I put the pause on that?
Yeah. Yeah, you should. Yeah, you should. Yeah, 100% you should. Squarespace is not the way to go. You're gonna spend all that money. You're gonna get the site up to the way that you want it with Squarespace, and then you're gonna be like, okay, now I've got to start marketing. You're gonna be lost. That's
and that's what I was feeling. There's a bit of a disconnect between the marketing and the website. And the website, I know, is not the answer.
No, not the answer. Not the answer. Everyone has been sold such a false bill of goods on that, and it's really tragic, right? Because knowing that no artist ever wants to do their marketing, no photographer ever wants to do their marketing, and they keep thinking like, oh, well, if I just move to this new whatever, that will work, right? And so you've got all these people that go from one website solution to another website solution to a marketplace, and then they're trying Saatchi art, and nothing ever changes in their career because they're not fixing the main problem, right? Yeah, that's what I'd say.
Okay.
Get it. You should get a demo. Just get a demo and decide. The demo is like, it's like it's like the test drive process that we use. You get on a Zoom call with our outreach team. They walk you through all the bells and whistles, the ins, the outs, the prices, and the whole thing.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds good. All right, I do need to dive. I've got to get back to work. So
Understood. Thanks for joining us during the workday. Okay. All right. I'm gonna pull you up next, Johnny. And Johnny, you've got 2 logins. I'm assuming the one that has the audio is going to work, so I'm going to unmute you on that one. But I know you're in on 2 devices. So you'll have to unmute Johnny. It's like the mic icon, bottom left-hand corner. The other one, okay. It's not showing. See, the problem with the other one, Johnny, is one is showing a camera and one is showing a mic, and that's it. Normally, you're supposed to show a camera and a mic, so I can't unmute you on the other one. It shows you have no audio source. So something wacky is going on your end there. I would say if you're, okay, good. You're figuring it out. All right. While you're doing that, I'm going to just move up through the chat, and if anyone else has a question, they can absolutely raise their hands too. But I got some other stuff I want to rant about too. If you guys are being shy today, I think there was another. Yeah, Susan says my contacts on social media love my work with very little purchase. Yeah, I have a very definitive way of talking about that, right? Because so many people are like, "Oh, I'm on TikTok and I got 10,000 likes," right? Like everybody's so into me, and I'm like, "Okay, I'm gonna drive to your house. I'm gonna pick you up, and you and I are gonna get in the car. I'm gonna take you down to the local ATM machine, and you show me the button on the ATM machine that says likes, comments, shares. Everyone tells me my work is beautiful. I got into a juried show. I won an award at the local contest, at the local this, that, or the other fair." The reality is that doesn't happen because the only thing that matters is the sale, is the transaction, right? Yep, I got you, Johnny. You should be unmuted. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, awesome.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. So I was telling Johnny in the chat that I went and checked out his work because, was it Victoria that sent it to me? Victoria sent it to me. It's like, you need to check it out. She brought up this issue. So you're super hot on selling limited editions and only limited editions. Is that correct?
Yes.
So give me your rationale on that.
Well, I mean, you talked a little bit about the gallery system, and you've been talking a lot about sales and things like that. And yes, I do think that sales are important, but I'm very wary of cutting out galleries entirely because of, I mean, mostly because of the story of Thomas Kincaid, right? Like, this guy sold more art than Sotheby's.
Yeah.
And he eventually took his life because he was so shunned by the art community, right?
Yeah.
And a large part of that, I think, is because he did cut out the galleries, right? He sold through his own galleries in malls and like things like that.
Yeah.
And yeah, like he seems like he was a great provider, but I don't know any artist that wants to be Thomas Kincaid.
Yeah. But did you see the presentation? Did you see where I ranted about this guy?
No, I totally missed that.
Weiland, the whale guy, #1 best-selling artist in the United States, not even close apparently, and it's because he sells direct and everything else. But I want to push back to you on 2 things. One, you can still sell in galleries. You just can't sell in galleries in lieu of selling direct, in lieu of getting information on who is buying your work so that you can market to them in perpetuity. And trying to grow a business where you are splitting the revenue 50-50 and not knowing who's purchasing, so you can't market those people before in perpetuity, is a recipe for disaster. Just straight up recipe for disaster. That's #1. #2, one of the things once you start marketing that you fundamentally understand, and to underscore this, what do your limited editions start at price point?
The lowest price point, I think, is 500.
The lowest price point is 500. Okay. So I got to do my bell curve here. Okay. My followers, Art Storefront's followers, your followers, Johnny, anyone's on this call's followers, everyone's followers fall into the socioeconomic bell curve. Okay. You have the low income people that can't buy anything. You have lower middle class, upper middle class, high net worth individuals. That is the bell curve. Everyone's followers fall into that, right? Everyone always talks about they just want to sell to the top end of it, right? But everybody wants to sell to the top end of it, so it's really, really hard. So when you understand that your followers are the bell curve no matter what, and then you understand you want to be selling your photography for the rest of your life, you realize that you have to have price point variability, okay? You have to have price points at the lower end of the scale such that people that are following you that don't have a ton of money can buy a calendar from you, can buy a mug, can buy whatever it is that you want to sell on the kitschy end of things, can buy a low-end print, because those low-end sales, while they're not going to be the bread and butter of your business or make you rich, all they are is just marketing. It's no different. If you sell me a calendar for $50 or $60, that's like you taking a Facebook post and stapling it on the wall in my house. Every single solitary day, I'm going to be seeing your photos. You guys got to see Johnny's photos. You got to put your site in there because your stuff totally tripped me out. It was cool. That's number one. Number two, those people, that socioeconomic bell curve is not fixed. The people on the low end of that scale today, 7 years from now, are going to move out of their mom's basement into their first home, have a bunch of wall space, and if they don't know you top of mind, they're going to go somewhere else to buy the art, right? So you constantly need to be feeding that entire socioeconomic bell curve. And by the way, it's just as important on the low end as it is on the high end, right? Like I would have an edition of 2 limited editions on your site for probably $25,000 a piece. One-offs, hand signed, personal note from you on the back, because catering to the high net worth individual is just important, is the low guys on the low end of the totem pole. And once you understand that, and once you start marketing in earnest, like you don't ever really know where in the scale they're going to drop in, but you don't care because you have price points for all of them, right? And you're just going year after year after year, you're selling more, you're getting more and more and more of these things into people's houses. And, you know, especially as it applies to merch, and like especially as it applies to a photog, like a lot of people poo-poo merch, right? Like by which I mean the calendars, the throw pillows, the tote bags, the this, the that's, the others. The way to look at it is like, when's the last time you went to a big concert where they didn't have a merch booth? When's the last time you went into a museum that didn't have a gift shop, right? Like these lower tier items are important because it increases your AOV, your average order value. And then in addition to that, it gets your work into more houses such that you're top of mind when they are ready to buy an expensive piece.
Yeah, no, I understand that. I'm definitely not one of those people that poo-poo merch. Like I absolutely love merch. My personal experience has just been that, I want to say for the last 10 years, mostly it's been you have a lot of upfront costs.
Not anymore. Like, let's say it's POD now. It's POD.
Right.
Yeah. Not the highest of the high end stuff, but a lot of it is POD, which means no minimums, no inventory, print on demand, one order is fine.
Yeah. I mean, 10 years ago, it was like I have to order like 50 shirts for one run. Right. And like, you know, that was like $600. Like I'd have to sell out those shirts in order to like make any of that profit. Right. So I'm happy that, you know, things are changing now, but like that's the experience that I'm coming from.
Yeah. It's a complete change. And I was in the clothing business literally in high school and like early on in college. And, you know, there was no DTG, direct to garment printing at all back then, right? Like, you know, there was none of this one-off. And now that you can do that now is like, it's insane. And so you want to be able to take advantage of that, right? Like it's so critical to take advantage of that. And there's so many things that artists miss out on by not having it. And again, I don't care if you ever make any money on merch at all. All it is a beachhead into your customers' homes and making you top of mind such that when they want to purchase the higher ticket items, you're there, which is not to say you can't make money on merch. You can't. But it also has the ability to raise your AOV, right? Like, you know, 2 of the features that we have are one-click upsells and order bumps. And the way that a one-click upsell works is I go to your site, I put a print into my shopping cart. Before I check out, it says, hey, do you want to add such and such to your cart for such and such? And then the one clicker, that's the order bump. I always get them confused. The terminology is terrible, whoever came up with it. The other one is it waits till the transaction happens. And then on the confirmation page, hey, you've been selected to receive such and such. Do you want to add that to your order, right? Merch is incredibly powerful there. The customers that we have that turn that on are converting at like 9%. 9% of the orders come through, end up buying whatever this extra item is. And a lot of times it's a calendar, or it's a small print, you know, it's a mug. I'm looking at it because I have it all over here. And that's a critical component of a business, right? It's like no different than, you know, when you're at like the hardware store, the electronics store, and we're waiting in line and they snake us through those little aisles of tchotchke, right? You know, with the cell phone chargers and the flashlights and like an electric mosquito swapper and, you know, drinks and fruit and beef jerky and all the rest of it. Like all that's doing is add to the AOV. And, you know, the more customers you get through the system, the more it drops the bottom line. It's critically important. It's critically important. So yeah, that's what I'd say.
Great.
We can help you for sure. I mean, I don't want to sound like a sales pitch. I don't want you to do anything you're uncomfortable with, but I dig your work. I do think in terms of selling it long term, you gotta figure, you gotta get people to buy into buying photos of someone other than themselves. But yeah, here Juan's got it pulled up. You guys got to look at Johnny's stuff. It's just so unique. So I love this, like Vitruvian, and I thought I saw that you pulled it from like, oh, it's gonna make me log in. Let's see if it does it. It's like the Hindu god vibe. What was that god called? I used to remember the name.
You're probably thinking of Shiva.
Shiva, yeah. Was that sort of your inspiration?
Not directly. It's so Hinduism and Buddhism in China, especially like there's a lot of overlap in terms of the iconography, and so that's mostly where that inspiration comes from. But, I mean they're very similar, right? So that mostly comes from the 1,000-armed Bodhisattva. Like that's the kind of inspiration that I personally draw it from. But those things are, you know, influenced by Hinduism, right? So I looked at these ones and it's like the Matrix with Mr. Smith, you know, when they're just another one coming after you. But anyway, I dug those. So yeah. What percentage of your sales are coming from your website versus are coming from your galleries versus, you know, you're just selling direct? Let me think. I would say it's almost zero from my website.
Yeah.
Right.
That was a
almost zero from my website. Although I would also say that the biggest sale I've ever had in my life came through my website. Yeah. They found me through my website, basically. And it's mostly direct sales. I would say. Yeah. Like out of the year, if I sell, usually I'll sell at least one piece in a year. The other, like maybe handful that I might sell will come direct. And that's through direct marketing. Basically through my email list and sending out postcards. For
sure. Yep. You like all the rest of us have a marketing problem, Johnny. That's just what it is. And you know, you got to be working it harder. And you've never run a live art show, have you?
I have.
You have?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you stream? What did you stream it live to? Did you think I meant like in a retail location? I meant like on streaming. You know, using the phone, laptop, going live.
No, I haven't done that.
Yeah, you got to do that too.
Okay.
I'm gonna send you some follow-up read material on that one.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah. But what else? Did you have other questions?
I can't think of anything right now, but I'll send you an email if I do.
Okay. Yeah. Wonderful. Yeah. You got me on the email, but you definitely, you need to follow on what we're doing with the live art shows. The live art show is the biggest game changer I've ever seen. And you want to talk about interesting, because she lets me brag about her numbers. So I'm going to pull these up. So the disclaimer on this gal there, it always comes with the disclaimer, right? And I have to get the link to her show so I can show it. Or Juan, maybe while I'm ranting, will you just throw it in the chat? The link.
Get it to you.
Yeah. To Carol's last one. So I want you guys to check this out. And so the disclaimer on her, because I don't like to, you know, do fluffy numbers that are nonsensical, but wild horses are a thing in the Western United States. They still roam on BLM land. BLM is like Bureau of Land Management. And apparently like the ranchers and the farm owners are not too happy about these wild horses because they're running around destroying their crops, their fences, this, that, and the other. And so they're trying to get the federal government to cull the horses. And this has got like the whole horse loving community up, like massively up in arms, right? Massively up in arms. So check this out. So this photographer, and I'll show you her show in a second, is Carol Walker, right? And you can see the thumbnail here. And again, I'll show you the real video in a second. This was her first show. It was on March 24th, and she streamed it live to her Instagram, to her Facebook page, to her YouTube page. She sold 6 pieces, $1,800, average order value $303. 3 months later, she ran another one. This was on 6/21 of this year, so June 21st of this year. Sold 49 pieces, revenue $6,600, $136 average order value. The last show, which she did in conjunction with the charity, so she sort of dovetailed on some of their attention, $27,000, 119 pieces sold, $228 average order value. And why do I share that? I share that, like, yes, she has some circumstances that help her, i.e. like a mega hot button topic, right? But what's so interesting is that she's just a normal photographer, like anyone else. Like, Johnny, you could be doing this. Like, she's got all of her pieces behind her, right? And they're on the wall in the various different colors, sizes, capacities. And, you know, she's not a paid actor, right? Like, you know, she doesn't do this for a living. She's just as terrified on video as all the rest of us are. And she ran this show, and, you know, it forced her to hold her pieces up and merchandise them. And she's showing all the horses that she shot over the years, which are like, you know, they give them names and such. There's like known characters in this whole community. And, you know, she had her whole grid of images below here, and people could just buy. And I've never seen anything like it. I've never seen any marketing technique or tactic work as effectively as these live art shows. And they're just incredible. They're just absolutely incredible. And they force all you guys to merchandise your work, which none of you ever do, right? Like, you know, I bet, Johnny, you do not have sitting there right in your office right now your work on the 5 different media types that you need to have. And you don't have them these sizes so that you can just pick them up and say, oh, you're wondering what the difference between an acrylic print is and a metal print. Let me just show you. I have both of them right here. I'm a subject matter expert. They're ready to hang. Neither of them need frames, you know, like. It forces you to do merchandising, which is a big deal. So God, I love the live art shows. They're incredible. And do you know what you need to do? This, that's it. Don't lie to me. You all have one. I know you all have one. Okay. Grab one piece. Go live on wherever you have the biggest social following. What's up, guys? I'm having a flash sale. I've got this piece. I normally sell this thing for $500. I'm selling it for $225. I got to get some of this inventory out of my basement, and sale ends today, 5 p.m. See what happens, right? Like, it's that simple. It's that simple. It's the type of marketing you need to be poked and prodded into doing that will fundamentally change your business that none of you are doing. It is the whole ball game. The marketing is the whole ball game, the whole ball of wax. I get ranting on these things, but I get so fired about the live art shows I can't even begin to tell you. Alan, what about you? Question? You've been brave, camera on all day. I feel like I got to harass you for a question. I'm going to unmute you. You'll still have to hit the mic icon, bottom left-hand corner. I'll let you know when you get it. It doesn't seem to be working. It's just like a one. Yeah, gotcha.
Am I on now?
Yeah, you're on.
Hi.
Hi.
Well, I'm a photographer based in Vancouver, British Columbia.
Beautiful Vancouver.
I'm also a senior citizen.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been a photographer for over 45 years. And I used to do shows.
Okay.
Haven't done a show in quite a few years.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also still a commercial and corporate photographer.
Okay.
And then I also do personal photography, such as portraits, weddings, bar mitzvahs, bat mitzvahs, etc. Actually, I just finished doing one through my temple.
Mm-hmm.
So this is obviously numero uno for my hearing you today, and it's been very inspiring so far.
Yeah, the biggest mistake is I'm going to have to go on a side tangent because this absolutely infuriates me. Now, I love service-based photographers because you have the service component of the business, which will give the business revenue and income, which will keep you working as a photographer and give you the time you need to start developing the fine art portion of the print business, the fine art portion of the business. What we know, though, is being a service-based photographer is trading dollars for hours, right? That's just what it is. And the only way you can only increase that business to a certain extent because you only have so many hours in the day. And once that's done, the only other thing you have available is charging more money, right? And many photographers do that, but then you get kind of pigeonholed into like, this is just what my rates are. I'm not going to get any more than this. It's always going to be this work ethic. Well, no different than the advice I was giving Johnny. You need to focus on your AOV. How can you increase your AOV? And do you know how you can increase your AOV? Every single solitary one of these bar mitzvahs and bat mitzvahs going forward, you are going to have a table set up with photos from some other bar mitzvah and bat mitzvah, and you're going to let everyone know that you are a subject matter expert in the various different materials, and you would ideally have an assistant. Let me grab my whole entire stack here. Hold on. almost tipped over something important there. That was close. You need to have a textured, and I have a green screen, so this is going to look a little Mickey Mouse, so you have to just deal with the Mickey Mouse-ness of it all. You have to have a framed paper print of some kind, right? It can be a textured fine art paper, a watercolor paper, whatever you like. You need to have a canvas print, okay? You need to be able to show what a canvas print looks like, the fact that it's ready to hang, the fact that you don't need a frame. Yes, metal, the newest kid on the block, everyone loves it. Also no frame, also ready to hang, beautiful. You have acrylic, right? You have all of these on a stand such that you can show them. And then you, of course, have wood. The samples can be small. And you let everyone know that there is a special for everyone that attended this bat mitzvah if they want to get photos on any of the media of this special event, okay? And you have someone working the table. Yeah, I'm not worried. You have somebody working the table, okay? And they're talking about a special package, and a special package that will even potentially end a week later. Then what you do is you get the kid's birthday, which you already have for the most part. You get the parent's email address, and every year, 2 months before the kid's birthday or a month before the kid's birthday, you email the parents, and you're like, hey, guys, just to let you know, I have your entire archive still digitized. If you wanted to get a present, commemorate the bat mitzvah, you could do that. It's ready to go, right? Now, you do that on every single solitary service-based thing you have. You have these media types. Everyone assumes that the normal consumer knows what the hell the difference is between a metal print, paper print, canvas print, or any of the rest of it. No one does. No one has any idea, right? Good. So you've got some stuff ready to show. You do that, and
I actually am a landscape photographer as well.
Yeah.
And another area that I've actually done quite a bit of work in is music photography. I've actually photographed people like Joni Mitchell, James Taylor, Mississippi Fred McDowell, Johnny Winter, et cetera, et cetera. And I have, those are all like 20 and 30-year-old and 40-year-old photography that has been sitting, gathering age.
Yes. Aging like a fine wine. Aging like a fine wine.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I did the first Greenpeace benefit concert in October 16th, 1970.
Wow.
Where Joni Mitchell, James Taylor, Chilliwack, and Phil Oakes, where I was 5 feet from them for 2.5 hours.
Very cool.
And I have sold quite a few prints from those, but I essentially need to do what you're talking about. Maybe do a live show of just music photography.
Yeah.
Black and white.
Yeah.
For example.
Yeah.
Showing that I have that in my as
archive.
One of my skill suits.
Yeah. Yeah, you do.
And fine art suits.
Yep.
Because they are fine art photography, along with the things like, like landscape and scenic.
Yeah. And you can sell all of it, right? Like, everyone always gets in the debate, and someone even asked a question in the chat earlier, I think, about niche selection, and it's like you're a part of you're the brand just as much as whatever the work is. So you can sell all of that stuff in concert, right? And the issue is that all of those service gigs come and go, and probably very few of them leave those service gigs knowing that you're also selling fine art, right? So it's incumbent upon you, number one, to tell them, and number two, to send them somewhere that they can look at it.
Absolutely correct.
I know. I've been doing this for a long time. Trust me, I know.
Yes.
Yeah. But yeah, you should see a demo too. We can help you, and then start getting a bunch of that stuff up. And you have to work on the marketing problem too. But it's even more important for you because you don't want to be doing the service gigs for the rest of your life. You're getting over them anyway. Everyone always does, right? Like especially the wedding photogs. Like the wedding photogs is like that is one of the.
That's not even really one of my specialties. I've done them, but I enjoy them. Have enjoyed them, but I've not really marketed myself in that direction.
Oh, it's so hard. You're just every weekend you want to be by yourself or doing some fun thing. You've got a gig and you're booked, and it's like just one after the other.
I want to be out in the mountains or by the ocean or in the desert.
100%. I totally get it. So yeah, that's it. So
thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for attending. What else, guys? Questions? Rodney, I can't tell if you're messing with your volume buttons or if you've got one too. I just unmuted you right there, so you'll have to still hit your mic icon. I'll let you know when you gotcha.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, gotcha.
Honored to be here.
Yeah. Thanks for
enjoying this thoroughly. I have a Zoom meeting actually with, I think his name is Philip, at like 3:30. We've been talking on the phone a few times.
Very cool.
My goal is to open up a gallery online,
okay.
Kind of as like an artist co-op.
Okay.
so many artists that I know, friends, social media friends, and real life friends, they don't have websites, and if they do, their websites are not producing.
Yeah, standard.
So I'm hoping that if I can latch on to storefronts and with the marketing and everything else, be able to help them as well, and maybe even bring more attention to my own.
Have you thought through what the split's going to be?
No.
Okay.
No. I'm still in the middle of trying to figure all that out. I'm not that, up to date on the going rates for galleries as far as commission. I know that from what I understand with storefronts and the website and the hosting and et cetera, it'll be like a 10 to 15% commission. So I'm hoping to make more than that per sale off any artist, but I don't know what the average rate with commissions are. I've shown in a few galleries of my own, but it was more like art exhibits and art shows, and commissions varied on those. So
yeah, I like the thought. I like the thought of running an online art gallery and then bringing in some other artists. It's great in concept, but you have to understand you're going to be the one that's doing all the marketing for all of those folks, right? So if that's going to be the case, you're going to need to take a commish, right? Now, if they're your friends, then you could potentially be in a situation where you're going to be cool and you're going to be like, look, I'm going to tell you who's buying your work, and you can market to them in perpetuity, because the reality is they won't, right? But that makes it way more attractive. But understand it's going to be your business. You're going to be the one in the trenches learning how to market and doing all the various different stuff. But the great news is that you can get all that going, come up with a cool name, get it started, and see how it feels, right? You might go a year or two and be like, you know what? None of these deadbeats is doing anything. My good friends, I say it jokingly. None of these deadbeats are doing any marketing whatsoever. They're 100% relying on me doing all of it. I'm giving them the collector information, and I'm over it. I'm just gonna work on me and grow me, and you can just throw them all out of the store and run your own store, right? But what you've done is you've leveraged their social following, small as it might be, to generate some extra links, to generate some extra love for a URL in a store that you own, right? So, or the reverse can be true, right? Like the gallery could work for you, right? Like you got a good vibe and it's working so well, you're like, holy crap, now I'm gonna have to make a retail location in addition to the online location and really parlay it into something, right? It might go that way too. So you never know, but it will be you doing all the grinding. The reason what scares me is not the mode that you're trying to get involved in. What scares me is, because whether or not you know it, or I'm assuming you dissuade me of these notions if I'm incorrect. You're going to put up all the cash. You're going to build the business. You're going to be the one doing the marketing, and you're just like, hey, I'm going to help these folks out and let them come in. That's okay, right? The one that's not okay, when 6 or 7 artists get around and they're like, hey, let's do a co-op and let's sign up for this thing and get one site and we'll all just grow it together, right? That's like being married to 7 people, okay? That is a recipe for disaster, all right? I have one spouse and I'm struggling enough as this to try to make that relationship work, right? Let alone have 6 or 7, because what always ends up happening is one person does all the marketing, the other people are benefiting, and they're like, WTF, what's up, guys? Step up. And they're like, these other, so that scares me. But if you're running it and you make that abundantly clear and you're like, guys, I want to help you, and go forward that way, awesome. But just know that like you will accrue benefits, because what happens is that you get the URL and the time clock starts, and we're long-term at this company, right? You're going to be doing this for years and years and years. And they send emails to your site, and they link from the social sites, and you get a media mention here or there, and all that does is just building up the link juice to the URL that you own, right? And Google is getting more and more comfortable with that thing, and then you're going to rank higher and higher and higher. So there's some good side benefits to it, but just know they're not going to do any marketing. It's going to be all on you, right?
Oh yeah, and that's the plan. And I've opened it up as far as I've done a few pushes in the past week on social media, mainly TikTok.
Yep.
That's kind of how I've gotten a following base myself.
Okay.
And I did for a while go live doing artwork, doing in my studio.
Yeah,
and
I love that.
Got a few followers. And trying to get more back into it. And believe me, I want this to be my profession. I'm sitting in my accountant office right now, so ready to have a different venue.
Yep.
And I'm excited about it. I went to just a local art show on Saturday and picked up at least about a half a dozen cards of people that I saw their work. They don't have websites. You can tell by looking at their card.
No, I know.
Introduced myself and what my objective is, and was pleasantly surprised at the interest. from also too, I live in North Carolina, and we have a large population in a town called Seagrove of potters. Lots of really great artists. And I also do the bookwork for one of those galleries that isn't a physical location with no website. So I'm hoping to bring that in as well with, you know, the more of the artists as far as potters go, and making it more open and variety to, you know, and I'm hoping, I mean, you know, we all have big dreams, but why be afraid to dream? That's the way I'm looking at it.
I love it.
And if I had the benefit of being able to bite the bullet and jump into this, I'm ready.
Good.
And the marketing side is one thing that's intrigued me more than anything else. I didn't spend too much time looking around for web designers, website designers.
Yep.
Luckily, I came to you guys pretty quickly.
I appreciate you saying lucky, because it is lucky, because trying to like program a site or design a site and upkeep the site and worry about any of that is just it's just headache.
Oh yeah,
right?
You get it finished and it's so, you know, primarily simple.
I know.
It's just not eye catching, and you know, you're not going to get very far with it.
I know.
But I appreciate it, and you know, I just wanted to know your opinions on going the gallery route.
Yeah. I think you go into it with the open mind. You're going to have to figure out what the split. I mean, what I would do is the traditional split is 50-50. You need the traditional split. You just do. You're going to need that revenue. But what you can do, because you're awesome, is be like, I'm going to let you know who purchases your work. If you do that, then they stand a chance long term of knowing who their collectors are should anything ever go sour, right? And then also, that is like a really dignified way of you being cool to them, because no gallery in the world does it, right? And then also, they're not going to email the damn people anyway, because they all suck at marketing and they're not doing any of it, right? So that's what it comes down to. But you know, I get in trouble because I hate the gallery relationship. I hate it. I think it's exploitative, and it's exploitative specifically when you don't give the artist who is purchasing the work so they can at least start a relationship. Then you're not building collectors. And collectors are the retirement account for every artist, right? Because a collector will be with you for life. And, you know, every 7 years, they're going to buy more pieces, or every 2 years, they're going to end up buying more pieces. And they're the ones that tell their friends. And, you know, I've seen it. Like, I've seen it. When I read this guy's book originally, and he was talking about the collector list in here, you know, I was like, man, this guy's so smart. And I live, you know, one town north of where this guy's got a huge gallery, and he's had it forever. So I've seen him forever, Wyland, the whale guy. And, you know, he has in his book about how he takes care of his collector list and how he treats these folks like VIP and goes out of his way, right? And, you know, they are a significant portion of his business. And then fast forward a couple of years after that, I'm starting to see it more and more and more with my customers. I've seen it where some of my customers will come out with a show. I mean, just recently we had a gal, she had 80 pieces in the show. 46% of the show was purchased before the public even got to see it from her collector list. Boom, right there, right? And I look at that, and then I contrast that to all these wonderful people that come on these Zoom sessions that are in like their 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, and they've had this storied career where they sold through galleries and they sold incredibly well. And, you know, back in like, you know, 80s, 90s, early 2000s, like they were rocking, right? They were like multi 6-figure a year businesses. And then that gallery relationship ended, and boom, what do they have now? Nothing, right? Because they don't have any idea who bought any of their work. They can't even reach out to these people and say like, hey, I'm still creating it, right? So yeah, it is the most important thing that you guys need to focus on, building a collector list. You have the rest of your lives to do this, okay? You have the rest of your lives to do this and take care of this. And so I say all that to circle back and say, if you did that for the artists that are in the gallery, you can feel good about taking the 50-50 revenue split and say, like, I'm doing something that no gallery ever before has done, right? So that's what I would do.
Well, I appreciate that. I was thinking not quite that high, but honestly, I probably
you have to do it
to be that.
You're going to be that high, but then you're going to tell them like exactly what I said. But I'm going to let you know every single person that purchases your work and your email address, and you can market to them in the future. And you're crazy to do that. That's the reason no galleries do that, right? Because it's the most valuable thing in the entire transaction. But again, I'm telling you, most of them won't even do a damn thing about it. They won't even email the person. Maybe they'll email them a thank you note, and that's it, right? So, yeah.
Thank you so much, Patrick. I greatly appreciate it.
Yeah, my pleasure. And you can't quit.
I'm going to jump off here and try to find Philip real quick.
Good. And you can't quit the accounting job for a couple more years because you need the air cover.
Nah,
You need
that.
You need the air cover to grow the business, dude. You'll need it for sure. Yeah.
I got you.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys. Y'all have a wonderful evening.
You too. Okay, so Nancy, how about if I'm shy? Could I ever do a show with potential wearing of a mask, discouraged or not? Yeah, you can wear a mask if you want to, especially if you're shy, but I wouldn't worry about it. Nancy, everyone's terrified to do it at first, by which I mean terrified. But the fact you're jumping on this call and you're on Zoom calls all the time, I wouldn't worry about it. You know, my favorite story that I tell all the time is that, like, you know, part of 50% of my job is providing the tactical information on how do you go live on Instagram? How do you schedule it? How do you announce it? All of those things, what to do before, during, and after the show. Fine. The other part is just the emotional support. Encouraging, sometimes poking and prodding, sometimes screaming, yelling, holding you accountable and everything else. But my favorite thing is when some of our older, less tech-savvy people, Instagram Live is in this format, right? Like, you know, we all know that. We all have Instagram, right? We all look at it in this way. TV is in the horizontal format. So some people think just when they're on video, I'm just going to turn my camera sideways. And so we've got multiple people, I love using this as an example, that end up doing their live art shows, and they're like this. So here's my piece, because the phone's turned sideways on the first one, right? Here's my piece. What do you think? You know, because the camera's turned sideways. I love it. I absolutely love it. And I use this other example. I don't know if I still have it open. But this couple, they were so good. The show is actually so good. They're like a husband and wife team. I don't have it up here anymore, so I can't show it. I don't know where it is. But anyway, they're a husband and wife team. And because they do like weddings and like, you know, some film stuff, they had lav mics on. And they had lav mics on, but not an audio monitor. So they were both mic'd up, but they couldn't hear her. And his wife during the show went to the other room and answered a phone call. And he's just talking away. And then you can hear her because she's got the wireless mic on the phone going through the whole thing, saying this, that, and the other. And it was just, it was absolutely hilarious. It was absolutely hilarious. So you don't worry about any of that stuff, and you just get it in the water. And Nancy, do you have inventory on hand right now? I'm unmuting you again. You'll have to unmute, yeah.
Yep.
You do. So where do you have more followers, Facebook or Instagram?
None. I don't have any social media.
At all? Zero?
Zero.
Do you have an email list?
Nope.
Okay, well, perfect. Your first live art show, your mom, the only person who's going to watch it is your mom. So now you can definitely.
Yeah,
now
that's
you can
what I'm
definitely
afraid
do
of.
it. Yeah, now you can definitely.
She's my worst critic.
But she shows up. She'll show up no matter what, right? Yeah, well, you do need to work on some people to market too. So you probably should start an Instagram account. But then you could run your first one, and it's like, you know, once you get the first one done, it's like, you know, just that huge sigh of relief, and then it just gets easier and easier and easier.
Yeah.
You can do it.
Yep. Thanks.
Okay.
I'll keep my day job for now.
Yeah. Good idea. Yeah, so Kathy was asking about a niche. I think I covered the niche. All right, guys, I think we'll leave it there. I'm running out of steam. Remember, Black Friday, Cyber Monday. Get something in the water. Have a sale. Run a sale. Let people know you are live and that you have art for sale. There is no better time. Do not let it go. Nancy, you just tell your mom you're going to have the sale and the one friend that you'll send the video to. But Nathan, I know you got some heads that are following you. Run that sale for Black Friday. Important. Alan, dust off the rock photos. Show a couple of those babies off. Sell them. All right. I think we'll leave it there. Good session today, guys. Appreciate you. Hope to see you all in the future. If you're interested in learning more, you can, of course, request a demo. There's still time to get your site up, running, rolling, ready, and to take advantage of some of these Black Friday, Cyber Monday / Christmas sales. So, all right. On that note, thanks for hanging out, guys, and everybody have a great rest of your day.